Good morning. We are just crossing over into our fourth country on this trip, and that is Slovakia. We're going to be in Bratislava today. Behind us, you can see an old Roman fortress, and also on the shore is a monument to the Iron Curtain, the fall of the Iron Curtain in the shape of a heart. They took the old barbed wire and made it into a monument. What are we going to be doing today, Laura?
So today the girls are doing a tour of Bratislava, and Pepper is going to do a beer and food tasting of Slovakia.
Really looking forward to it. So far, some of my favorite beer I've had has been the day we stopped in Czech. And so this used to be part of that Czechoslovakia. I expect the beers to be pretty good here, and as they have been. And in fact, they've been getting better from Germany all the way down this river. They just keep getting better every day.
Yeah, we've had a nice and relaxing morning. We had a lecture this morning from an expert from Vienna who came and talked all about the Danube River and the history of it, and that was something really unique and special. We're going to have a lunch on the ship and then go exploring this afternoon, so stay with us.
To Slovakia!
Lunch on board was delicious, of course. They even gave us a little taste of Slovakia with traditional dishes like the flavorful fish soup that Pepper chose, a warm way to kick off our day in Bratislava. All right, we are about to be off on our small group tour. The girls are doing Coronation City tour because apparently a lot of kings and emperors were crowned in this city.
And Pepper isn't going to be joining our group this afternoon because he's doing the beer drinking group. So we're having a sister's day. We're very excited.
One of the best parts about river cruising is docking right in the heart of the city. Here in Bratislava, our ship pulled up right by the iconic UFO Bridge, giving us instant access to the city's vibrant center and stunning views. There's something magical about stepping off the ship and straight into the city's energy.
Bratislava is a city rich in history and character. It's the capital of Slovakia and the country's largest city. The city's roots go back to Roman times, but it truly flourished in the Middle Ages, becoming a key coronation site for Hungarian kings. Today, Bratislava blends its historic charm with a lively modern vibe, where medieval streets meet trendy cafes and vibrant culture.
Bratislava is known for its quirky and meaningful public art scattered throughout the city. As we wandered around, we passed powerful monuments like the statue of Ludovít Štor, a key figure in Slovak nationalism, and the Libertarian Monument, which honors the Red Army's role in World War II, helping to liberate Slovakia from Nazi occupation at the end of the war.
Just a short stroll from the riverfront, we passed the elegant Slovak National Theater. Built in 1886, this beautiful building is home to opera, ballet, and drama, and it remains a centerpiece of Bratislava's cultural scene.
Next, we passed the beautiful Reduta building, home to the Slovak Philharmonic. Its ornate design was a pleasant surprise and a reminder of the rich architectural variety you can find throughout Bratislava.
And right behind me is the American Embassy right there.
Bratislava is full of unexpected details. On our walk, we passed a statue honoring a famous Slovak poet and admired a beautiful stained glass roof overhead.
Next, we spotted the Hans Christian Andersen statue, honoring his lasting impact on children's literature.
We caught a glimpse of Bratislava Castle from afar. It's a striking landmark, though we didn't have time to visit this trip.
As we turned the corner, we came across St. Martin's Cathedral, famous as the coronation church for 11 Hungarian kings and queens between 1563 and 1830. For over 200 years, it was the primary site for these important ceremonies, making it a central part of Bratislava's rich history. And right behind me, you can see the remains of the ancient city walls that are still standing, and they're attached to this building right here.
These were part of a vital defense system, protecting Bratislava, especially during the Ottoman Wars when the city stood strong against advancing Turkish forces.
And there's Michael's Gate, the only surviving medieval city gate in Bratislava, topped with a striking copper roof tower from the 14th century. It's not just beautiful, but also home to a small museum featuring medieval weapons and the city's old defenses.
During the Napoleonic Wars, Napoleon came here and shot cannonballs down the streets. And after the war, the mayor of the city said anyone who had damage from the cannonballs would not have to pay taxes for a year and a half. So a lot of the locals went out and found cannonballs and put them in the facades of their buildings so that they didn't have to pay taxes even if their building wasn't damaged. And there's 10 of them still in the buildings today, and this one above me is one of those. It's one of the smallest. This art marks the original location of the Lawrence Gate, named after St. Lawrence, reflecting Bratislava's religious roots. It was a main medieval entrance and checkpoint for travelers and pilgrims heading to the castle.
Following these gold-crowned symbols means you're walking the very path the kings and queens took on their way to their coronations. One of the most famous was Maria Theresa, the only female ruler of the Habsburg Empire. She was crowned Queen of Hungary in Bratislava in 1741, a key moment in European history. So here is the famous man at work in Bratislava. There is a superstition here that if you rub his head, it brings you happiness for the rest of your life. And if you are a lady and you touch his nose, you get a chance to swap out your husband's. I still like Pepper, so I'm not going to touch his nose, but I'd like to be happy for the rest of my life.
This fountain was placed here in the 16th century. This was a very religious community, and it was scandalous that the little boys are using the fountain as a bathroom. So the mayor of the city had the entire top section taken off and a new one made where there were fish heads in front of the boys and the water was coming out of them instead. They recently found this during a renovation and restored it to its original form.
So this guy, he was in the regiment of Napoleon Bonaparte when they came here to Slovakia. And he got really drunk the night before his regiment was to move out, and he missed it. They all left without him, and so they said that they came out to the square, leaned on this park bench, and he's been here ever since.
This is the town guardhouse. It was built in 1767, and from 1767 to 1860 it was actually made out of wood. But when it burned down, they didn't bring back a wooden building. They made it out of stone in 1860. It was removed from the square, and it's made in a Baroque style.
And this is Handsome Ignacio, a beloved local known for strolling the streets and tipping his hat to passerbys. He's still charming visitors today.
We're in front of the original clock tower and city hall for Bratislava, and it has one of those cannonballs right in the facade of the building.
And so that's going to wrap up our walking tour today. We're going to maybe hit a couple souvenir shops, get some gelato, and head back to the ship. We've got the captain's dinner coming up for us later tonight.
So yes, on my part of the tour today, I am down in the city center here in Bratislava, and look at that, I'm at the House of Beer. Mine was a quick tour around the city center. I mean, 15-20 minutes, got a very basic sense of the history and some of the buildings, and then they took us in and gave us 3 really nice beers. It's all the same here in Europe. It's a light beer, which is usually a Pilsner, a dark beer, which is usually, of course, more malt forward, and then they had a summer beer, which I would call like a saison, which is a seasonal type beer that's super light. It's about 3% alcohol that you would drink like in the summer, they said, and threw out some cheeses and threw out some breads, and really nice experience. Now I'm on my own here for a little while longer, and I'm contemplating finding another house of beer for a little while before I head back to the ship, and maybe get me a 6-pack to go somewhere. So that's what I'm doing today here in Slovakia. I love the vibe here. It's a college town, a lot of young people. There's a good energy to it, and it's a pretty small town, so pretty manageable, it seems like, and very old. And the weather, of course, today is just fantastic. So after I finished up my beer tasting, I walked around the town a little bit, got back over here to the ship, found some Budweiser in the store. I thought that would be kind of fun. I've heard everybody talking about the original Budweiser. This one says owned by Czechoslovakia, or Czech. Yeah, owned by the Czech Republic. And I thought it'd be fun. Get some Budweiser, old school style, and have that on the ship tonight as I make my way back to the ship. Catching up with the girls later for afternoon high tea, and then we'll have dinner tonight on the ship. But what a cute little town. I really got the vibe here. Bratislava, the capital here of Slovakia, college town. You can feel the energy. There's a lot of young people, a lot of young families too, little school children running around laughing and carrying on. It seems like a really fun place, and it's got a really sweet vibe. And now Budweiser is next.
That evening, we gathered for the captain's gala dinner, a special way to celebrate our journey with AmaWaterways, where we made memories that will last a lifetime.
And what a dinner it was. The food on this trip has been incredible, and the captain's gala really capped it off beautifully.
All right, folks, that's going to wrap up our day in Bratislava, Slovakia. Pepper, what was your favorite part?
Well, I enjoyed this city. It was very quaint and had an energy to it. It's a college town, and in that college town, there was a lot of energy, a lot of kids, and we got some beer tasting today, which I've said once, if you've been following this blog, you know. The further down south this river we get, the more I enjoy the beer, and I really enjoyed today here in Slovakia.
Yes, and for me, it had to have been the Captain's Gala celebration tonight. To kind of close out our trip, we had a wonderful reception and a wonderful dinner, and dressed up, it was just so much fun.
But stay tuned for tomorrow when we go to Budapest, Hungary. So excited to hit a 5th country before this trip is over. In the morning, we're going to go to the Buda side and see everything having to do with that. And in the afternoon, we're going to do a tour of the Pest side before we come back and get ready to go home.
Still more to come before we disembark on this wonderful AmaWaterways cruise.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.